I love training people, but we do need to learn how to run a business, not just train people. There's two different things.
This week we're joined by Rob and Silke Martin, owner of Choice Training Club in Mallorca. We talk about why they decided to de-affiliate from CrossFit and build their own brand.
It got to the point where having CrossFit over the door was almost hurting us as much as it was helping us it did previously. I think it's really important to own your own brand and not sort of be under the influence of everything they do, good or bad.
For me, more getting into the selling process because I never did it before. Taking it not so personally when you have someone on the phone.
We also discuss the systems they've implemented in their business to increase retention.
Before, we used to always focus on what we did. Now it's like what we can do for the person. Reframing that really helps.
While also speaking about the transition from a mindset of a coach to the mindset of a successful business owner.
I think I tried to do everything myself. If you want to do everything, you can't grow. So learning to give things away, that's been the biggest thing for me.
We hope you enjoyed the episode. Rob, Silke, welcome to the Fitness Marketing Ladies podcast. Thank you for making it all the way from Mallorca to be in the studio. I know you're also here for some other fun stuff, but thank you for coming down. How are you guys doing?
We're great, thank you. Happy to be here.
Amazing, awesome. So if we can get a bit of a rundown of the name of the business, the model, and also the price point, that'd be great.
Okay, so the gym name is Choice Training Club. We run a large group and small group and PT as well. The price point for our large group, 6-week trial, is $257, and for our small group is $397.
Amazing. Yeah. And what was the large group? What does it range from again in terms of price point?
And when you come into our back end, it's $127 for 2 times a week, $157 for 4 times a week, and $187 for 6 times a week.
Amazing. And you guys were one of the original CrossFit boxes, right? So you were. How long is it you guys have been around for?
We opened 2011.
Wow, amazing. So gym's been open for a really long time, but as of recently, and this is what I want to dive into first of all, you've decided to unaffiliate from CrossFit, although you guys still love CrossFit, still train, the methodology is still similar, but you guys have decided to, from a business perspective, not to have that across the door. So I'd love you guys to kind of run through what your thought process was because of that, and then we can kind of go from there.
Yeah, so CrossFit has been amazing for us over the years, but I think it's the time to transition. I think it's really important to own your own brand and not sort of be under the influence of everything they do, good or bad. So that was really important for us. Also, owning our brand has been really important. We do so much more than just CrossFit now. We also do high rocks, and the style of training we do has changed over the years. So I think it got to the point where having CrossFit over the door was almost hurting us as much as it was helping us it did previously.
And there was a time where being CrossFit affiliated was a huge benefit and a huge advantage into the area, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think because we were quite early adopters to CrossFit, people were looking for that. And now I think a lot of people are scared of because people get injured and things like this. So I think owning your brand has been really important for us. And
also from a competition perspective, because were you guys the first?
We were the first in Mallorca, yes.
Yeah. And then how many CrossFit gyms are there now?
There's at least 10 gyms.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that time, 10 other CrossFit gyms have opened. And you mentioned as well, like, owning the brand rather than relying on someone else's brand. And I think that's such an interesting point. So whether it is CrossFit or High Rocks or any other type of brand, it's not one that you own and can represent. Now, there's good benefits to being associated to the brand, and you guys have experienced those over the years. But as you mentioned, there can also be some things where it can potentially hurt you as well. And it'd be great for you guys to kind of share your thoughts on that. I don't want to slate anyone, but in particular, where were you seeing that potentially having that affiliation was not benefiting the business as much as it could?
I think especially opening the small group PT, these people are not the type of people who come in for CrossFit. So our age range is more into the sort of 40s to 60s. And these people are probably scared of if they think you're going to walk on your hands or you're going to be swinging from bars. And I think having that name over was one of the problems for this. So people come in, we still do all these different training methodologies, but they encompass under our brand now, where before, I think just having CrossFit, people are almost scared of that.
Yeah. And what I really love what you guys have done with your marketing is that you've really honed in on the individual that you help. So if you look at your Instagram, and we'll look to flash that up on screen now, in the bio, it just says, get fitter, feel better, look better, and then there's the link to the bio. And then you go to the website and it says something along the lines of, specializing in helping people in Mallorca over 30 to look and feel their best and kind of go from there. So rather than talk about CrossFit and, the hardcore training, you're really focusing on the consumer and the benefits of the person. Like, how have you found benefits of that kind of changeover with the rebrand?
Yeah, I think before we used to always focus on what we did. Now it's like what we can do for the person. So I think reframing that really helps. So it's almost it's about us before, but now it's more about them. And I think signing people up, it's more about how we can help them, not what we're doing all the time.
And beforehand, when you guys were just CrossFit, obviously you have some people, you were telling me earlier, you had someone that's over 65 and goes to competitions and people that compete. But are those people, let's say, in the minority of the client base in terms of the hardcore competitors? And then are the majority, are they all hardcore athletes, or is it the minority if you were to kind of split them apart?
It's definitely a minority, yeah. We do have a gym where people compete. They go to Hyrox events and other local competitions, but I'd say that's probably 5% of the gym. 95% of the gym are just general population. People want to get healthy and be fit.
Yeah.
Look good, feel good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Most people just want to come and train, do their bit, be part of the community. It's not about competing.
So really hone in on you. Actually, what you guys did is you looked at your current client base and went, who are the majority of our core customers, rather than who are the minority of people that are competing at a high level. And you went, as a business owner, let's follow the money. Essentially, most of these people just want these basic things rather than hardcore workouts. And then that's why you've decided to brand in that way. And like, has your training changed and adapted at all, or is it just you're doing less of the, let's say, gymnastic types of movements there? Silke?
No, we did change the training style massively, I would say.
Yeah.
From how we are now.
Yeah, so in our group classes now, we don't program handstand push-ups, snatches. Most Olympic lifting stuff has gone out as well. So it's more like general strength and conditioning,
yeah,
rather than sort of competition sort of movements.
And literally, this is what the people need, right? Strength training and getting strong, and especially in the age.
And again, just to emphasize, like, why did you guys, decide to take out those movements?
Just injury rates going down as well. So most people have been sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day, and then you come in and you start snatching and handstand push-ups. And I think it creates that competition element in class, and we wanted to make it more of a training element than a competition element. And I think having those workouts, even when you tell people to scale and to do things right, it's very hard to take people's ego out of the equation. So now it's a lot more about a training focus, and they're coming in and competing every day. We still have times where we're doing workouts, but it's a lot more simplified, using ergs and stuff like that to push hard.
And the goal is, once you get a customer or a member, to keep them for as long as possible, right? And to do that, they've got to come in the gym, they've got to train, and then they've got to come back. But if you take them through like a really hardcore WOD, and then they're injured, and then they can't come back in, then people will drop off. And did you notice that happened over the years when you were just CrossFit itself?
Yeah, with CrossFit, you do attract a certain type of people, and it's like that A-type who just wants to come in and get smashed up every time. And we're going into the longevity game, and you realise people don't need to come in and they don't need to work out. They land on the floor feeling sick afterwards. And even though some people still love that stuff, and we do have elements where people can push hard, but overall it's about making them healthier and the long-term game rather than the short-term focus. Yeah.
And also because, again, as we got older, we focus on what do we need ourselves, right? And what we need is what everyone else needs as well.
And you mentioned this earlier, actually, and I'd love you to potentially kind of elaborate on that. You mentioned, like, as we're getting older and what we want, and talk about in the rebrand. So is that from a health and fitness perspective, as in, like, what's the best type of training for us to do? Or is it also as business owners, how do we want to, perceive a long-term vision of the business?
I would say probably both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, again, everybody needs to work on their strength to increase their muscles. Everyone needs to work on their engine, mobility, very simple things. And I think when we was doing the CrossFit methodology, sometimes it could be too advanced movements for beginners. And I think having that foundation, that base there, people getting a lot more results from this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you still look at your Instagram, there are still some movements where there's some sprinkles of kind of CrossFit in there, right? So it's not like you've completely swayed away, but obviously it's not CrossFit. There's no snatches and muscle ups and handstands or anything like that, but you've just stripped that back and focused on those core elements, and again focused on the demographic that are going to benefit and also be your best type of customers, because people that are hardcore athletes, like there's not a huge amount of them around in your area, right? No. So to be able to build up a gym full of those people is going to be very, very difficult to do. But is that, when you first started, is that what you envisioned that you would like to have?
I think for me, I was competing quite heavily in CrossFit in the early days, and it was almost like follow what I'm doing. And we sort of opened the business because we enjoy training, and sort of everyone joined us. But as we've aged, we've got children, we've got responsibilities, we got like real life things going on. You realise it can't just be, okay, we're training, come and join us. So the business we want to open it a lot more professional now and growing it. So for our coaches and our children as well.
And let's kind of run through the journey of you making this transition and change, and kind of run through the steps and kind of dive into what has changed within the business as well. So we actually initially spoke maybe a year and a half or so before you actually came on board with FMA.
Yep. And
we had a conversation, and you spoke about your gym, and then we were talking about the business model a little bit, and then kind of what happened. Like, were you already before that thinking that something needed to change? Where was your guys' mindset at?
I've been listening to the FMA podcast for quite a while now, and there was always great guests on there and gave you're always thinking about your business, what you can do differently. So we was always thinking about we need to make some changes. Then when we spoke to you on the phone for that sales call, we realised we had to put some things in place before we sort of opened the floodgates for trying to push more members in.
Yeah, but also for the rebrand, you were talking about 2 years ago. That was already in your head saying like, oh, should we just drop CrossFit? So you were thinking it for a long time until we actually did it.
Yeah. It wasn't something like a quick snap decision. We were thinking about this, like making the rebrand, changing things in the gym. And it was just like following the right path. So I think when we spoke to you, we was going to come on board straight away, but realised, okay, we need to do some work to make sure we got the right business model, to make sure we got the right things in place before we sort of bring a marketing agency in.
And just to quickly circle back to that rebrand element and the reason of owning your own brand, just to really kind of articulate the point, is that I think something that if when CrossFit's really popular, that benefits you guys. But if there is a controversy with the brand in another country that has nothing to do with you or anything you've done, that then affects your brand, and that can then affect your business. So like your popularity, your growth, your business can basically be determined by someone else's doing, good or bad. And there is benefit, but as time went on and certain things happened throughout the years, there was more negative things potentially happening, and you were kind of being hit just by association, even though you guys hadn't done anything there at all. So that's the real definition of kind of owning that brand, right?
Exactly. I think with your own member brand, own member base, it never really mattered so much, but it's more the outside element. So new people you're trying to attract to your business. I think that was the reason more behind that.
Yeah, if someone wants to train, as we mentioned, look better, feel better, move better, and they go, oh, I don't want to do CrossFit, I don't want to get injured, or I can't do any of those crazy movements or anything like that. It just kind of stops them coming in straight away. But yeah, let's go back to the rebrand. So we had a conversation, and we're talking about kind of not only the brand but also the business model, because you're right, we can market anything really, but an analogy I like to give is that, let's say there's a bucket, and the marketing and the leads and the sales are the hose and the water. Yeah. If the bucket has got maybe some holes in there and we fill it up with water, then you're going to lose a lot of opportunity and potential. Whereas if before we turn the tap on, you have got a solid bucket, there's no holes, the system is there, then you're going to be able to reap the rewards of all of that marketing afterwards. So making sure that your model and brand was was aligned has ultimately just made sure that you guys are even more successful when the marketing did get turned on. But so you guys got some help, right, with that process in terms of changing the inner workings of the business.
Yeah. So we were actually watching a podcast with Dan Aguilera from FBP, and for us, we reached out to them. We felt really aligned with those guys. and now we've been working with them for over a year. And yeah, they've helped us put the systems in places and making sure we're on the right track before we bring those people in.
And also because we never run an ad, or we never advertised all over those years, we were like not scared, but like cautious. If we go with FMA, then we get hit by what we don't even know to do afterwards. So we needed all the system in place and make sure everything is okay before we do that, because we knew it's gonna be strong.
Yeah.
And when you build a business and you have a client base just of word of mouth, just of community, you don't really need that many systems in there, because as you mentioned, people were coming because you were training, they like you guys, they're training with you, and a community built from there and sessions took place. But you didn't need too many systems to grow that, really, right? Was it just a lot of word of mouth beforehand?
Yeah. It was just, I was a PT already. So when I first started, I had a clientele base and it just sort of built from there. And then I think because I was competing already, we'd be competing in places like Germany or the UK. So other gym owners, when people come on holiday over to Mallorca, they'd come and see us. So it was a very sort of word of mouth and just being in the industry from the start as well.
And what was some things that when you were getting help inside the business, what were some things that maybe you were doing that you've now decided to change, or things that needed improving or adding in that weren't there at all into the business?
I think it's just our working structure, like how everything's set out, how our weeks run. I think before we were sort of just putting out fires and doing things as needed, and they just gave us a little more structure to our business now.
Yeah.
And also the selling process. I mean, before I wasn't really a selling process. People came in, asked for information. We gave them this is this, and see you later. I would never do that anymore. So the whole structure by when people come in changed as well.
Well, that's the thing with the whole word of mouth process, right? Because when someone comes in off a referral, they know you that they're pretty much just going to sign themselves up, right? And you're kind of a glorified self-checkout machine. And when maybe someone walks in, you give them a leaflet and then they walk off. Whereas when you look to grow and scale and market, you need to make sure you have that system in place to actually be able to get them signed up properly. Because it's easy to sign up someone that knows your price point, knows that you've got a couple of friends down there. Yeah. And some people have a bit of a reality check when they're like, oh, I know, I've got members in my gym. We obviously know how to sell. And it's like, well, you don't know how to sell. You've just built the community element, which has done the selling for you. But then as you want to grow, you need to update those systems.
Yeah, I think the thing is I love training, but we never got taught how to be business owners. And that's the thing with the FBP, they're teaching us how to become a business owner, not a trainer. And it's a hard identity shift as well, because I love training people, but we do need to learn how to run a business, not just train people. There's two different things.
And think like business owners as well. And this is quite hard as well.
And do you think for the majority of the time running this gym, you kind of thought more like coaches than you have like business owners?
Definitely. We're sort of coaches in our own gym,
yeah,
rather than owners of the gym.
Yeah.
And it's a hard shift to make because we love training so much.
Yeah. And what are some things that have been, let's say, challenging for you to adopt and to take on with, because you've kind of got coach's mindset to business owner mindset.
Yeah.
Like what are some things that you guys have, let's say, maybe struggled to think about or change, but you know that are necessary?
For me, I think it's just delegation. Like I think I try to do everything myself, and learning to give things to team and to not take, like, you're trying to do everything. And if you want to do everything, you can't grow. So learning to give things away, that's been the biggest thing for me.
For me, more getting into the selling process, because I never did it before. And taking it not so personally when you have someone on the phone. And because in the beginning, I felt like, I mean, you put your details in, I ring you, and you tell me basically to bug off. It's like, I didn't understand that. But now I try not to take it so much personally and grow, basically into that role a bit more.
Yeah. And so in terms of those systems, so one is like actually how you operate on a day-to-day basis. So what does that look like? So have you been given kind of structure of how to run your days or prioritize things and look at things? Whereas I mentioned beforehand, it was just putting out fires. So it's we're going to do this session here, we're going to do this session here. You're kind of reacting rather than...
Yeah, I think it's like how to plan your week, what to prioritize, what things go first. And before, again, as I said before, we're sort of just running by the seat of our pants, just doing things that are done, planning for future events, like for Christmas parties, for doing community events. Before it was very last minute. Now we're trying to put the things into place so we can grow that way.
Last minute, if.
Yeah. either last minute or not, things didn't get done at all.
Yeah.
And now it's okay, having targets, having KPIs, all these things helping us move the business forward. Yeah.
And with the service itself, what was it like when a new member signed up to just the CrossFit Gym, and how is that different now?
I think before, people used to come into our... We did a foundation. We do like it started over the years. We had different foundation sessions. So sometimes it was 10 sessions, 3 sessions, but they just sort of come into the classes straight away after that. Now, with the 6-week onboarding, they do an in-body scan. There's a lot more sitting down, speaking to people. So it's a lot more intentional to getting ready for coming into our back-end system now.
And run me through kind of what that kind of like 6 weeks looks like. So we'll dive into the sales process a little bit later, but imagine the sale has just been closed. They sign up, like I've just signed up to your gym. What does that process look like?
So they come in for a consultation. We do an in-body scan, find out their goals, and then work with them. Some people want weight loss, some people want muscle gain, and trying to prioritise those sessions where they're going to get the best outcome. If people need nutrition guidance, helping them with that as well. And and getting lots of touch points. Before, we weren't great with the touch points when people first started. So now we're making sure, like on the first week, they get a call, they get text messages, the things like this, making sure they're...
And so let's say I come in and I'm like, well, there's 2 versions of me or 2 different people.
Yep.
One of them's like, I want to lose weight, and the other one's like, I want to gain muscle. How do you then take that information and kind of implement it into the ongoing service to align with their goal?
Yeah. Well, most people, their goal is weight loss. They need it's the nutrition side. So they can exercise, it's a great thing, but you need to make sure the nutrition's on point, because you can never out-train a bad diet. And then the guys who are wanting to gain muscle, prioritise the strength sessions and also protein. So it's very simple, but making sure they're following the right path.
And will that information get kind of passed on to the rest of the team as well to let them know what their goals are, or what does that process look like? Yeah.
So when clients come in, each new person, we in our coaching group, and they'll be told what their goals are and what's making sure they come in sessions and make sure they're getting touch points.
And also we have cohorts. So we tell them this new client will be in your cohort. So you're going to be the accountability coach for them.
So every new client, friend, that they're given us a specific coach that's going to look after them throughout the journey?
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So it's like, hey, this is Steve. They've just signed up. You're going to be looking after them through their 6-week program.
Well, for the 6-week programs, I'm looking after them. But after the 6 weeks, when they actually sign in, this is when they're
divided.
So you look after them throughout the 6 weeks, make sure they're taken care of. And then after that, they're given to a specific team member. And what's their job to do with that specific client, like on a workflow basis? What is it they have to? What are their responsibilities?
It's mainly to check in with them. Like if people are not turning up, where are you? What's wrong? It's more that there's someone there that we try to have the accountability of our gym, that you're just not certain. If you don't come, no one cares. We care if they don't come. So this is the main role of the coach.
And is there a process where, once a week they have to go through their clients and check it, or is it a meeting? What does that look like? So I'm the coach, I've got my cohort. What am I like? Is it on a Wednesday at this time? I'm going to go through my list of clients and look at their attendance, or what does that look like?
Every Friday we sit down and have a coaches meeting, and then they'll go through their list, identify anybody who's not been in, why they've not been in, what contact they've had. And we do this on a week-to-week basis.
And you'll do that together. So everyone's got their cohort, but they will go through each client together, essentially?
No, it's more like they'll flag the clients. If anybody's not attending, why they've not been in, have they contacted them? Yeah. So it's a once-a-week thing. And then we've all got our groups and just going for the list. And it's more flagging the people who are not attending classes, why they're not attending classes.
And they'll be coming to this meeting with a bit of information, like already knowing who these red flags are. So they would have already gone through their list of people and be like, so these people are good, these people are concerns, and they're just saying what they're going to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. What have they been contacted? If they've not responded to the contact, stuff like that.
Yeah. And how have you found this process of implementing this, 6-week process, onboarding process? Because a lot of CrossFit gyms traditionally, they might do like a few foundation sessions, right, where they come in and do 1 or 2 sessions and then they just go into classes. So then they're a member and they're signed up, and it's kind of go and get on with it. Book into your sessions, turn up, and that's the product there, right? There's no messaging or service or real communication with the coach. but also, and again, this isn't me trying to be negative. I've trained in many different CrossFit places, but you walk in, you go up to the whiteboard, they point at the whiteboard, they say, this is what we're going to do. You go and do it, you leave and you feel sore, and then you just kind of do that process again. So a lot of the emphasis is really on that person showing up. Whereas what it sounds like here is you take a lot more of that, or you help them a lot more with that accountability along the way.
Yeah. I think the 6-week program. So we've only started running it for a year now, is it? We've seen a big benefit from onboarding people this way.
Big benefit, and also we keep on improving because of FPP with our Monday call. They gave us ideas. What can we do to even improve? And we do see a lot of changes, and there is still a lot of changes to be made to get better.
So it's still a work in progress,
yes.
basically.
As Dan says to us the other day, it's like the work's never done. There's always stuff to be done, and it's always innovating, making it a better procedure each time, trying to make it a better experience for the members.
And so you have, how many members of the team do you guys have?
There's 4 plus 1 front desk staff.
Okay, so there's 4 coaches, including you. You two are also coaches, and there's 2 other coaches.
Yeah. So I'm coaching. Silke's coach. She has some PT clients, and she does more of the back end of the business. Yeah, sort of the finances and sales. And then we have 2 other coaches as well.
Nice. Are they full-time coaches?
They're both full-time
as well. Nice. How long have they been with you guys for?
Kathy has been with us since the start. So she's been
2011.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And Sam's been with us for 2 years now.
Amazing. So was that one of your first staff members?
She was actually a client of mine. Yeah. She started off as a client of mine.
Amazing. Because that's some excellent staff retention there, right? Because that's been, about 15, 16 years she's been with you. So I'm sure a lot of gym owners are very keen to know what it is you've done to keep someone for that long. Because a lot of people, they get someone in for a year, they leave. And you mentioned that you are kind of coach's mindset going into a business ownership mindset, but there's something you were doing right there to keep that person on for as long as they were. So is there anything you can point towards at all of why she stayed as long as she has?
She's a great employee. I think she enjoys being around the business and around the members.
And also growing with us. She sees us growing. I think she enjoys doing that as well, doesn't she?
I think, again, with your members and with your staff, you've got to show them the future. And if things are never changing, if things stagnate, why are they going to stay around? I think you've got to be trying to innovate and try to always make improvements. That's the goal, I think, for us.
And since you're making these changes to the business and getting kind of mentor and help, is there anything you've changed in terms of your leadership style or things that you do with your team to make sure that they're performing where they need to be?
We haven't changed that much, but this is one of our weaknesses we have to dive in deeper into. And
I think communication is our biggest thing now, right? To communicate with the team, making sure we put meetings in place. In previous years, we've sort of not prioritised that. Things get busy, but we sort of put every Friday we're sitting making a meeting, because you could be in the same building as somebody, but you don't always get a time to check in because everyone's busy, everyone's got clients, people are training, and we try to prioritise these meetings, and I think that's definitely helped as well.
It does, yeah, but in this sort of sense, we do need to improve a lot.
And how were the team when you just told them we're going to move away from CrossFit and into this new brand? Was there any skepticism, any resistance?
Yeah.
I think when Rob dropped first 2 years ago, he wants to rebrand. Or when he said, "Oh, what do you think?" I thought I'm going to fall off the chair. I thought, "Oh my God, he loves CrossFit so much. What is getting into?" I said, "I don't know." And then when we actually decided, I think they were quite excited about it.
Yeah, but again, I think it wasn't a snap decision. It was something we spoke about before, so they knew it was coming as well. So it wasn't just overnight that we dropped it. It was something we've been speaking about for quite a while.
Yeah. And so this team member area, like in terms of, you mentioned there's things we need to work on. What are those things that you're going to be looking to do to improve the, let's say, kind of staff and relationship and the processes and systems there?
I think one of the big things for us is a growth path for them as well. It's like, okay, they don't want to be in the same position this year as like next year. So we want to make sure we can pay them more. We can give them leadership roles themselves. So we want to grow the team. We don't want the business to be stagnant. And again, for many years, we were sort of stuck at the same member range, and it was enough to pay the bills and do all this stuff. But we do want to grow the business now, and we want to show them, okay, if you want to step up to a different role, it's going to be available. Yeah.
Almost involve them a little bit more in decision making as well, and give them a path to grow.
And can get them to buy into the business a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah.
And since kind of making these changes, I know we're only a year in, but have you seen the business growth and the benefits from that?
We are growing for sure, slowly but steady, but we are growing for sure.
Yeah. Is the price point remain the same, or have you gone up in prices there as well?
We've gone up in price.
Nice.
Yeah. We were 150, and I say that for unlimited, they come in as much as they want. And now that's our mid-range package now.
Our main members are grandfathered in with the old price, though.
Yeah, nice.
So we've done as long as they remain a member, they get the old price. If they come in, if they leave, they could come back in as a new membership price.
And you guys have a slightly unique, let's say, revenue model there as well, right? Because you've obviously got a core group of members for large group and then small group, but a huge amount of your revenue actually comes from drop-in memberships, right? Which typically, if you're in a, let's say, a business estate in the UK, we wouldn't recommend you have that as a model. But with you guys, you have so many people coming on holiday that it's a huge part of your revenue, right?
Yeah, we have lots of camps coming over as well. So we have gyms coming over for a weekend, long weekend, or a week.
We also run High Rocks camps as well, which is quite popular.
Yeah, so we've got it's not just our gym membership. We've got other little bits and pieces where we can get revenue from the gym.
Yeah. And let's move on to sales now. So you mentioned that you were quite hesitant about the sales process. So run me through what it was that you were worried or scared about when it came to kind of selling people in a different way.
Yeah, the rejection, right? So when they say like, oh, no, that's not for me. That is still hesitates me to, when I have to ring someone, I still have to put my head down and say, okay, it's not you, they don't even know you. It's probably because I say something they're not happy with, but it's not me. So it's more the
is the rejection side of things that is the worry. So was there any skepticism about the process of, like, how do you sell them now? Is it over the phone, or do you still put them in?
Over the phone.
Over the phone.
Yeah.
So one call close, and that will be either 257
247
or
397
or 397. Yeah, over the phone. Did you ever have any skepticisms about that process there at all?
Not at all. No, the price not, because I do think our product is great. I don't not about that. For me, it's more like the script, reading the script or following a process more the script, right? Because I would just say like, are you in or you out? But tell me now, I don't want to be on the phone for 20 minutes. Just, you're in or you're out. And that was very hard in the beginning. But now I did change my process a little bit, because I do ask him quite early on, are you in or you're out?
Yeah. And so that sort of like, are you in and are you out? Is that what you used to do? Sorry, when you're on the phone with them?
No, God, no. In the beginning, I was like just following step by step what you guys told or Luke what told. But now I changed it a little bit more for me, how I feel more comfortable.
And is that at the end of the call you kind of ask that question, or where does that come in out of curiosity?
It comes quite early. So because I tell them, like, we have two types of clients. We have client A who comes and pays and puts effort in and leaves happy. Then we have client B who pays and is not coming. And over the years, we had lots of clients B, and we don't want to work with client B. We want to work like client A. So which client are you, A or B?
I like that question.
Yeah.
So you ask them, so early on actually, is that kind of within the info gathering stage?
Yeah.
You say, hey, so we have kind of typically two types of people that will walk in. Yeah. Client A who pays and comes and enjoys and gets great results, and B who pays and doesn't do anything and doesn't get any results. Like which one are you going to be? And then it's funny because obviously B is a disqualifying question. So everyone's going to ask A, but they're also saying, I'm going to be someone that pays and someone that does the work essentially at the start. So they are financially qualifying themselves within that question. I really like that question.
Yeah.
I think it's
because also I tell them, because we don't want client B, we want people who walk out happy, get their results, right? Because that's what we're here for. We don't want your money if you don't come. And ringing you every other week. Where have you been? I haven't seen you for 3-4 days. We want to work with clients who really are committed.
And in that info gathering stage, when it comes to sales, a big part of it is listening to their pain points and how we can help them. But another part of it is genuinely qualifying the person to see if they're going to be a good fit and if we want to work with them. Because if someone says like, I can only commit to, come once every other week, you're probably gonna be like, well, really, it's probably not going to be for you. If you live around the corner and you can only come and commit to that. And it's okay to have that process in there, right? So it's actually about qualifying them. One, are they going to be a good fit? And then two, find out that information. And that question there is actually a really good question. I really, really like that. And what do you do to get over the rejection fear that you have when it comes to making sales?
I'm just telling myself it's not me. Not me personally, because they don't know me personally. It's either they don't like the way I sell it to them or whatever, but I'm just trying not as me as a person. I'm not fully there yet, but every time I do some sales calls, this is the first thing I say is not me. They don't know you. And
is that something that you would kind of feel before, as in like, you might take it personally if they don't want to buy or they don't want to go in there? Yeah. And I think, the more you can disassociate the emotion to the outcome is always going to be better. One, for you, but also you'll make more sales there as well, 100%. And so like a lead comes in, how many times do you call the lead? Like what's your process when a lead opts in?
Still not great. So I'm trying to call them maybe twice and then they'll probably end up in the cold.
Yeah. I gotcha. Yeah. And is that just because like lead flow is quite high or there's quite a few leads that are coming in?
It depends if we run an ad or if not. But sometimes I think, oh my God.
Yeah. And so your guys' job role here is because you've split them up into different sections. So your job role is kind of sales, a bit more back end side of things there, and then Rob, you're more on the gym floor.
Yeah, more front of house. Yeah,
awesome. Yeah. How have you both delegated your roles as business partners, but also partners?
He delegated in my roles.
Oh, I gotcha.
He delegated me in.
I think over the years, we're juggling children, the business, our own training as well. So we just try to make things work. And I think whatever side, because I started off with the coaching side of it, it was my passion more. Silke sort of been pushed a little bit more into the back end of the business, that side. But again, we're trying to help each other out and we cover each other basically. So if someone needs help or we just trying to be a partnership and trying to help each other out. And
you mentioned that a big part of getting help with FPP is actually planning out your day. Like, do you guys have time where you sit down and say, right, this is what we're going to do? Like, do you plan that out together in terms of what we're going to do this week and how we're going to do it?
We try our best, yeah. It's hard because, again, sometimes we feel like we're taking stuff home. And again, our kids complain sometimes, you're just talking about the gym again. But it is difficult because it is our life. But we're trying to get better at that, trying to segregate when we work, when we're not working. But
normally on a Monday, we're trying to map out the week and say what's on with you this week, what's on with you. But we need to definitely be a bit more better with that.
Yeah.
And how do you guys, let's say, manage, obviously, business partnership, but also a personal partnership? How do you guys manage that side of things? Because obviously, I imagine they cross over quite often. What have you guys learned over the years?
I think it's just always work in progress. Like communicating to each other is important. Trying to create time where we're away from the business, and when we are away from the business, not talking about the business, which is very difficult because, I say, it is our livelihood and it's everything encompasses. But I think it's just always work in progress. We pretty much get on. We don't argue so much. I think we're just quite well matched. So it works out. But I know a lot of couples couldn't do what we do, but we seem to make it work.
And so when you guys are away from the business, you make a conscious effort not to talk about the business. Like if you're on like a holiday or away. Yeah.
She doesn't know.
Yeah. So it's just like, no, we're not going to talk about that today. And how important do you think that is, just to have that time where you actually don't think about the business? But I would say it's actually in benefit of the business, I would say.
I think it's very important, but I do know it's hard not to, because then you get an email in and how can you not answer the email, right? So it's hard not to, but we do try to disconnect a little bit.
That's the thing, I think, in the future, growing the business, we want to be able to leave the business and it's always hard when it's like your baby. No one's going to look after it like you look after it. So it is always on your mind. You might check your phone and you've got an email at 10 o'clock at night and you will respond to this. But again, I think having a business, you need that involvement as well. So it's always a tightrope between getting it right. But it's always work in progress. Yeah.
And this kind of switch to marketing a little bit. Looking at your social media, like it's very strong. Who does your social media content and all that fun stuff?
We have a member in our gym, Vicky, she's a writer and also does social media stuff on the side. So she helps us with the video and some of the posts.
Nice. So she's like part-time, is she essentially, or?
She is. So she's been a part of our gym from the beginning as well, and she just sort of helps out. She actually trades a gym membership for helping us out for that.
Yeah. Your page looks really clean and slick. Like when you go and visit it, obviously you got the pin post, like who we are, what we do, and how you can get started, and then all the content is just very slick and very clean. And I think that's really, really important in 2025 and beyond to have that look there. But also to have like a full-time videographer, right, is probably not feasible as well. So having someone that comes to the gym and can do bits and bobs there is the ideal situation, right?
Yeah,
we do want to try to do a bit more ourselves.
Yep.
It's just both of us are introverts, so we find it hard to speak in front of the camera or behind the camera. Even when we do our campaigns, it takes us ages to get the text right and the video. But in the same extent, it's quite fun as well, isn't it? So we have a good laugh in between. So, but we would like to get a bit more involved.
Yeah, I think it's come on leaps and bounds from what it used to be. And again, it used to be just sharing what other people did. And so since we've rebranded, we've really tried and prioritised the social media side of it as well, because I think it is really important that people see your brand.
And what do you think your overall, let's say, marketing system was like when you were kind of before making all the changes to what it is now? Like, how would you kind of compare both of those?
I'd say if you rate it out of 10, I'd say before we was probably a 3, and now we're probably a 7. Again, I think there's always work to do, but we've, again, it's like prioritising, okay, have we got a post going out? Have we got a member testimonial, things like that? Before, it sort of used to happen or not happen.
Yeah.
Now there's a process, okay, making sure every week we've got something going out with a member testimonial. If we do some other bits and pieces as well.
And
also with the FMA trainings, that helps because there's always ideas. And with you guys saying when a campaign comes out, make sure you post in this and this, so it relies with the campaign. So those things are helping massively for us.
And so when it comes to social media, you guys are like scheduling out kind of weekly, like who have we got for a testimonial that we can get? Who have we got for this?
Yeah.
To make sure that there's a plan in advance on what's going on.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And we've got enough going out as well. I think, say before, would be good for a week or two and then forget it a little bit. There's always something, it's in our mind now that something's got to be going out, so that we got to keep our Instagram active and stuff like this as well, yeah.
And your, I mentioned as well, like your website has changed as well, and it doesn't mention obviously CrossFit anywhere, but it's really specific with the messaging and the audience, and so is your Instagram as well, actually. It's really, really clear. Have you seen benefits in that in terms of opt-ins and things like that versus beforehand?
Yeah, definitely. So people before would be like walk-ins, but now we're getting a lot more website traffic and people contact us on Instagram as well.
Nice, awesome. Yeah. And then obviously we cover the paid advertising side of things. So I imagine lead flow's been pretty increased since we started working there. How has it been kind of like dealing with those leads and when you do turn on a campaign and the tap is turned on?
Yeah, you literally feel it right away, right? The tap is on, an hour later, like the leads flying in, and then I am already like, oh my God. But as I said, I try to see it as a training as well. Every call is getting better. And if I do sign, and my signing rate is not that bad, every time I say I run out of the office, I sign one. So it's quite...
Yes, like Silke's improved massively on that side of it.
Nice. In terms of people you speak to, do you know roughly percentage-wise, like if you were to speak to 10 people on the phone, how many people do you think you're signing up there?
I would probably sign 3 or 4.
Nice. Oh, that's very solid, to be fair. Yeah. That is very good. And did you beforehand? Did you ever do any phone sales, or was it just it was all brand? This is all brand new to you, essentially.
Brand new, yeah.
That whole process.
I attended Luke's sales calls literally every Monday and Thursday. Like literally, there was not a negotiation, but was it? No. I was on all the time, and I thought, oh my God, do I ever understand this? But it did help a lot. I really did, yeah.
And do you think that, let's say, like you didn't have those trainings or attend the coaching, and you just tried to call leads, you would ever be able to get those people signed up over the phone?
Probably not as many. I probably would have done it my way, and my way is completely wrong. Well, not wrong, but probably not as many now.
Yeah.
I think after those calls, it's the inspire. Like she almost felt more motivated, and I think it's taken that fear away of rejection because you're speaking to other like-minded people who are going through the same process. So I think every time you got off those calls, that you seem to be a lot more motivated.
Yeah. And also, I wanted to show when I go on the next call and you ask how many sales have you done. I don't want to be the one who says 0, right? I want to be the 10.
And you mentioned it yourself, there's like a fear of rejection when doing calls. So you have to motivate yourself to do something that there is like, if you think about doing it and there's a negative feeling, you have to be able to motivate yourself. So whether that's just consistently educating yourself or just keeping accountable, that's going to be the thing that's going to help those sales continue to come in there as well.
And also like thinking is a good thing, right? It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It drives the business forward. People contacted us because they want help. So, I'm not doing a bad thing. So this is also a mindset where I had to shift a little bit. I'm not selling something what I don't get. So, yeah.
And then we've gone through a number of topics in terms of the onboarding process, sales, marketing. Something I want to focus on is kind of the community element. So I'm sure there was a strong community actually when it was just CrossFit there. But what is it you guys do to really drive the community, and what benefits do you see there?
We have community events throughout the year. So have you heard of Gym Sync? So we've been doing this recently quite a lot. So it's just like a competition. I think every 2 or 3 months they run one of these.
And that's in-house, is it?
That's in-house. And it's a really good competition because it's very, it's like very attainable for all the members to take part.
Yeah, our kids do it as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, tell me more about it.
So this Gym Sync, you're working on the C2 erg. So it'll be like bike, row, ski and a form of burpees. And it can be teams of 2 or 3. And what we've done recently as well is we do like everyone puts their name in a board and you get picked out a hat. So you can get random partners. So it's not always sort of the best guys in the gym together, and the new people get left out. And I think also having that available, people probably won't sign up because they're scared to ask for another member to do it with them. More of those people sign up as well. So we do that. It's probably like once a quarter.
So it sounds like quite an inclusive type of competition in terms of the movements they're doing aren't, high level or skilled. They don't pick their own partner. It's picked out of a hat. So it sounds like there's a lot more emphasis on the fun rather than the competition.
It's a lot more. I think other gyms run it differently, but for us, it's a lot more about the community. And
we this has to be paid, and the money how you say that?
We donate all the money to charity as well. So it's a paid event, but all our proceeds for that go to a children's charity in Mallorca. So again, it's our chance of giving something back. We want to try and raise €5,000 this year through these competitions to give back to less fortunate people. But it's been a really great thing to add into the gym. But also we'll do things like dog walks and hiking and all bits and pieces like this, barbecues. So there's always something going on. Every month or so there'll be something.
And that's every month. So every month you've got something put into the calendar for people to take part in.
Exactly, yeah.
It's all planned out, whereas beforehand it was very sporadic and it might happen if we've got time to do it.
The CrossFit Open was our sort of focal point, but now we're doing a lot more things throughout the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do anything related to CrossFit now? So, when it's the CrossFit Open, do you do anything or just leave it now?
We were affiliated in the last Open, so we did the last Open. I'm not sure next year what it's going to be. I think there's always going to be a few members who want to do this, but over the years that's dwindled down as well. So when we do the Gym Sync event, we might have 50 members take part. And we used to have that for the CrossFit Open. Now it was getting to the point where you'd have like 10, 5. So it was getting less and less popular over the years.
Yeah, so actually less and less people were taking part in it every single year in terms of, I
think, again, our training, we wasn't training towards the CrossFit Open, where previous years we had been as well. So we over the years, we changed the training, and a lot of the movements they test wasn't in our classes. So... yeah. And
I think to kind of summarize a lot of this conversation, because the main theme has been kind of where you were and what the change you have now with the rebrand, with the service, with the methodology and sales. Like, what do you think the biggest benefits are to this to these changes for you guys and as a business, from going from a CrossFit gym with not many systems in place to your own brand and really kind of diving into the bonnet and building out that system?
I think it's just a potential for further growth. Yeah, so I think now we've got everything in our own hands, everything's our responsibility, and we've got more elements we can fit into our gym. So we want the longevity side, we want people, if they want to do a High Rocks or an athlete games, we can fit everything in there, And it doesn't matter where you come from. If people want to do small group PT and they're complete beginner level, we've got something for everyone, really. And again, we want to grow that business through there.
And what would you say to anyone else that is, let's say, a CrossFit affiliate and there might be some places that are in a really sweet spot. I've got things going great and they're really, really happy, right? Because many people love CrossFit and it's a great community in sport. But there might be some other people that are in, do I kind of swap and change? What are some questions maybe they should ask themselves, or maybe what advice would you give to that person?
I think, again, it's what do you want out of the process from this? And again, it's nothing like CrossFit. I think you can do an amazing job as a CrossFit gym, but for me, it's about the ownership of that. So again, if you want ownership of your brand, and I think you can still be affiliated and change your name as well. So it's completely up to you. It depends what direction you want to take your gym. We decided to take it in a slightly different direction. That's why we rebranded our gym. Yeah.
And what is next for you guys? So you guys have obviously made some big changes, and it's been, it's been a year, but still a relatively short amount of time since you've done quite a lot in that time, right? You've rebranded the gym, de-affiliated, built in new onboarding systems, built in new cohort systems, had to overall change your mindset towards business ownership and plan your time more efficiently. You've actually done quite a lot in a pretty short space of time. But as you guys have mentioned, and been quite refreshingly transparent, like this is what we're changed, but we still need to be better. We've done this, but it's not like, oh, we're amazing at everything. We're making all these changes, which is good, but we still need to make stepping stones along the way. So if you guys could, let's say, be in a quite positively, let's say, critical of the business right now, it's like, what are the key things that you guys need to focus on moving forward to get the business to where you want to be?
I think we want to sort of grow the membership and grow the team. So we'd like to have maybe one or two more coaches, but we just need to have enough members to sort of pay the bills, basically. So we want to take more of a leadership role in the business and not be we want to be gym owners, not gym employees. So we're going to be working on the business rather than being in the business. And I think at the moment with the membership base, it requires us to be on the floor sometimes. So we want to get to the point where we can grow, that we can employ more people and also help more people in the community as well.
And that will all take place in the coming months, I would say, in terms of you being able to get that new staff member in place, I would say. Yeah.
I think September, October, November is a great growth point for the gym as well. I think kids going back to school and everyone's settled back in, this is a good time to onboard people.
And when you do get that new staff member, what do you think you will do differently with that person than you have done with other people in the past, now that you've learned everything you've learned?
Just the onboarding process for them as well, how you train your staff, how, again, people sort of organically come with us, and now we've got a process of how, again, bringing someone in new. So I think before, it's sort of people they sort of land in our laps, but then if we actually go out there, make sure we've got the right person, the right fit, this is going forward, this is important for us.
And actually going through an onboarding, we never had that before. So I think it's also important that a new coach has an onboarding process, for a period of time. Yeah.
And so, will you you kind of agree, or is there other elements that you think also need to be improved in the business? What are your thoughts on the same question?
Still, the selling progress can always improve and needs to improve, and that's probably my side of it.
And probably team as well, giving them roles outside of just coaching on the gym floor.
Yeah. So you mentioned this earlier, like giving the team members more of a leadership role so they can kind of have that growth plan in there as well.
Yeah.
And so I imagine when you get a new member of staff, then potentially one of your team members can kind of mentor them a little bit and kind of be their person to kind of give them that growth there as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, guys, thank you so much for coming down and being on the podcast and sharing your story. And we're so happy to play a part and to help you have the growth you've had already. But there's a lot more work for us to do to help you guys grow, and we're really looking forward to taking you on that journey. Maybe we'll have you down a little bit later on to get a bit of an update on how everything has gone. But good luck on Athex, which you guys are competing on in a couple of days, and we'll go ahead and end out the podcast.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.